Hope you guys are ready for summer. I know I definitely am. There are some hiking videos coming, but I've decided to start the year off with a Hiking 101 series for anybody that is interested maybe getting outside, being a little more active, and isn't sure where to start. If that's you, you've come to the right place. Today I'm going to go over just some basic gear that you're going to need. Nothing super fancy, just basic what you ought to have on you if you're going to be out kind of away from society. I will put timestamps to each of the items I list down in the description, and I'll also put a couple of links to different places where you can look at some of the gear I'm talking about and look at some different options. With that being said, let's get started. Okay, the first one's kind of obvious, but you're going to want a backpack of some kind. You don't need something fancy. I use a specific hiking backpack, but I know people that will just go hiking with a drawstring bag. Short hikes, that's okay. If you're going to go for a longer hike, you probably want something with proper straps with a little padding like this, because having those drawstrings cutting into your traps right here can result in a pinched nerve if you're carrying too much weight, and from experience, hiking with a pinched nerve is hell. Another obvious one is good shoes. Again, don't need something super fancy, just want to make sure your foot is comfortable and supported, probably not flip-flops. Sometimes I see people doing like some serious hikes in flip-flops and I'm like, you're gonna hate your life tomorrow. I personally use the high ankle support because I know I'm prone to rolling my ankle, so I just like to have that protection, and there have been times where I have twisted and been like, well, if I didn't have these, my ankle would be sprained right now. So I really like having these. My parents and my brother just use the regular shoes because they don't really feel the need for that. They feel like their foot's a little constricted. Jogging shoes, tennis shoes, stuff like that will work really well if you're not really sure you want to do something expensive. And if you're just kind of getting your feet out the door, you probably don't want to invest in an expensive pair of shoes right off the bat just because they can be really pricey. No matter where you're hiking or how long the hike is going to be, you're definitely going to want water. Whether you use a water bottle or a water bladder like I have here, something to carry water is definitely necessary because you don't want to be drinking water out of the creek. And I'll go more into that in another video, but Giardia is a thing, it's not fun. So don't do it, please. Please take care of yourself. I use one of these because having the hose coming over my shoulder makes it a lot easier for me to drink on the go, and I don't like having to dig out a water bottle all the time. But having this in the back of my pack also makes it a lot easier to carry. I'm not off balance, and it keeps the water insulated so it's colder. A first aid kit is a must, even if it's just a plastic baggie with a couple of Band-Aids and some Neosporin in it. Having something on hand in case you fall and scrape your knee or you cut your hand on a branch or something like that is going to help protect you against infection and, make life a little more comfortable. I carry a couple of different types based on where I'm going and how long I have. Something simple is usually just my short day hike. I do carry a bigger one for longer hikes, and I do have a dog first aid kit because I have Cypress with me most of the time. I'll go more into first aid kits on another video, but just know it's something you want to have with you. Something that a lot of people think to carry is a whistle. I have this little one here because it's lightweight and they're relatively inexpensive, and it's very loud. Never blow your whistle unless you need help. And when you do, make sure you shout every couple of blasts, because sometimes people think a whistle is just kids messing around or a bird or something like that. So you want to make sure that anybody who might be able to hear you will also know that, oh no, that's a person that needs help, I gotta go get them. So just make sure you're safe. Something else that lives in my backpack is a headlight. I do also have a flashlight, just a little small one that I'll use on occasion, but this, like I said, lives in my backpack. I have a different one that I take on other trips, but I have one that's constantly in there so I don't have to remember to pack it. The reason you want a headlight, even if you're planning an earlier in the day hike, is in case you end up taking longer than expected and you are on the mountain or out in the desert or wherever it is you hike after dark. You want to be able to see the trail. I have actually gone on a hike with my dad where we left earlier in the evening. We were supposed to get back, but We did take longer than expected, and we ended up out there after sunset. So we were really lucky we had these, because the hike we were on would have been nigh impossible to get out of without these, because it did have a really steep dirt patch. So being able to see the trail and not whack our faces on branches was a really good thing for us. Not to mention, hiking after dark is super creepy. The next thing you're going to want is some sort of knife. There are a lot of different options, and I tend to carry a couple different ones with me. I tend to carry 3, mostly just because I like to have my options. The first one is this little flip knife here that I actually carry in my pocket most of the time, unless I'm at work. I use it for anything from cutting apples to clipping strings that are flying off of my shirt. The next one I carry is this little multi-tool guy, which I have pulled out everything for. They have a lot of different options for this one. I do have a couple different ones. This is the one that I usually have on my person. Yes, I do carry this and my flippy knife with me pretty much all the time. This is nice because it has a couple of different blade options. It has a pair of tweezers and a bottle opener. It's got the pliers with a little wire clipper here in the middle, and it's got a little screwdriver head, a nail file, and some scissors. So it's just really basic, but it has what I need on it for pretty much everything. The last one is this big guy here. My dad got this for me because when he was watching the demo, it was a live demo, the guy was literally splitting logs with his. What's nice is that it's rubber, so it's super grippy, and it's a decent sized blade, but not hugely overkill. It's really strong. Mine is a little dirty. I think I got like something in the sheath or something, so I need to clean out both of these. Don't let your knives get dirty, and don't fling it around like I'm doing now. But don't get your knives dirty, guys. They're a pain in the ass to clean up if you need to. And by dirty, I mean like, don't let them get rusty. This is not rusty, it's just dirty. This guy lives on my bag as well. He's usually on my lapel right here, just because he's really easy to get to. I don't use him as much, just because he's really only there for emergencies, but sometimes I pull it out to cut bigger food if I brought like a sandwich or something that I want to cut for whatever reason. Don't usually do that, but I have it and I love it. Another thing I like to have on me is a couple of bandanas. I usually carry 2 or 3 because there's very little they cannot do, from splinting to having a headband or getting it wet to keep around your neck to help cool you off to a handkerchief. There's so many things you can do with them. I do actually keep one specifically as a handkerchief so I don't have to pack in and out tissues, because that's gross. And I just wash it when I get home, and it, saves tissues. This one isn't really a must, but I do like to carry a little notebook on me. I like to be able to take notes of who I met or where I've been or what I've seen. So if I'm trying to think like, which hike was it that I saw that moose on? I can go take a look and I can see exactly when it was, so if I want to try to make it back in that same season, I can. A lot of people don't carry them, it's just a little added weight, but it's like 2 ounces, and I also have my wilderness first responder notes in here, so it's good for me to have. The last thing I have for you isn't really an item. Safety. That is the most important thing you can have. Just be safe, especially if you're not close to the city, because then if something happens, it's really hard for you to get anywhere if you don't have help. So just use your common sense, have situational awareness, kind of watch out for yourself. Don't like eyes on the trail, because that's how you don't see the bear right there. They're actually very quiet. Someone who's not on the hike with you should know where you're at all times. My dad is my backup guy, even though he lives a few hours away from me. I always make sure he knows what hike I'm going on, what time I'm leaving, about what time he should expect to hear from me. He does always send me a text before calling search and rescue, because if they get out there and you didn't actually need help, they get a little unhappy. But it doesn't usually resort to that. He knows to give me an hour or so. So just make sure to communicate with somebody who is in cellular range, so if you don't check back in, whether you forgot, hopefully they'll check with you first. But that way, you have somebody looking out for you. The odds of something happening are pretty low, but you never really know, and you'd rather be prepared than not. Situational awareness, guys, it's a hell of a thing. Just be careful. That's all for today, folks. Let me know if you have any questions or suggestions for videos I can do in this series. I do have a few planned out, but nothing set in stone yet, so it'll probably be a couple weeks. But feel free to reach out to me in the comment section or on social media. I try to respond really fast. Make sure to subscribe, hit that bell for the notifications if you are interested in getting more of my stuff. If you check out my website, I do post short stories, and I'm going to try to put transcripts of my videos over there. So we'll see how that works out. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Ta! A first caded is a